Math and computer science teacher and has been an associate professor of mathematics and faculty liaison to distance education at Des Moines Area Community College located in Iowa for the past 8 years. Dan teaches many levels of mathematics face-to-face and online, including developmental math and statistics. He earned his Bachelor of Science degree in mathematics from Buena Vista University, his master's in school mathematics from Iowa State University, and is currently pursuing his PhD in education at Iowa State University. Dan is also involved with training faculty on innovative ways to use technology. Dan has presented at several conferences and is an active member of the Innovation in Teaching and Learning Committee for AMATYC. So, welcome, Dan.
Well, hello, everybody. I know this is hopefully your second session.
Depends where you're from.
How many of you are like been coming to AMATYC a lot? Any first timers? All right. Well, welcome. Michael, thank you for introducing me. It's kind of interesting. Michael and I've been meeting here at AMATYC for years. It's kind of neat to have him here presiding for me. This morning I have a couple goals. Number one, hopefully to engage you and entertain you a little, because they say the worst thing you can do with an audience is bore them. So, let's try not to be bored. And if you are bored, then I'm not doing a very good job. So I'm going to try to give you some ideas and some things to think about, try to push your thinking about using technology in your classrooms. I know I've learned so much at this conference, and pretty much everything I have learned that I'm implementing, I probably found at this conference. So this is a wonderful place to push your thinking, get you moving in the direction of other people. And I see other folks and I'm like, wow, that's really cool and that's really neat. I don't think I could do that. The key is take small steps. Just take small steps, pick up a few things, and just, you can only do what you can do, okay? The wonderful thing is, with technology, we are seeing a huge shift. And this is what I want to kind of get out right out in front. We're seeing a huge shift in innovation. So here we go. This is a Prezi, by the way. Let's get that out. Who's used Prezi before? Wonderful. Who's never heard of Prezi? All right. So it's like a PowerPoint, but just maybe a little more graphical, a little more interactive. So this presentation is online as well, and this is a downloaded one, so I don't need the internet. So a lot of people want to ask that, so I just get that out in front. For those of you that are just arriving, make sure you grab a handout if you'd like, take some notes, and we'll have some Q&A at the end. But if you have any questions as I'm doing this, go for it. Just go ahead and raise your hand. We don't have a huge group here, so I think we can do that. All right. So the first slide here, I used this from Dr. Robert Talbert. He gave a great webinar for AMATYC. Again, who's ever seen an AMATYC webinar? Awesome. Those are only like a year and a half old, aren't they? For those of you that have not done that, that's a benefit of being part of AMATYC. They'll put out webinars about different topics. This is, I'm an active member of the Innovation in Teaching and Learning Committee. And one of them I watched was from Dr. Talbert here, and he talked about using the flipped classroom idea. And I don't want to get that right now, but what I want to do is use his slide here to start advocating a new way of teaching mathematics. Maybe not new, but maybe enabling us to do a better job. For instance, right now you are very passive, right? You're processing, you're just listening, you're categorizing. You're working down here, right? Okay, you're working the bottom two tiers, and this is the old ones, and I'll throw the new ones up too. But what he's suggesting is that maybe this top tier, the assimilation part, is what we ask students to do outside of class. And in class, we're doing the lower stuff. So here's the idea. As cognitive load goes up, students need more support. So if we can figure out a way to have their accessibility of help when they're away from us is down, agreed? If they're off and away and we're not around, we're not there to support. So if we could figure out a way to add the heavy cognitive load, be the time when we're with them or with their classmates, that is the thinking here. So the transmission mode, which is down here, which is typically the lecture style, like what we're doing right here, right? When you're sitting in class, that's what we call the lower level learning. The idea is maybe we can push some of those things outside of the classroom. And so when students come to class, they have very much an incentive to work together, to do deep level application, synthesis, evaluation, all the tough stuff, right? And what I would call that is actually the mathematics. What we're seeing is technology is actually enabling a lot of this to be done outside. So when students come to class, we can maybe do the things we've always wanted to do, which was math, right? So this is an awesome time to be alive, I think, as far as we're seeing a shift from maybe a pure transmission mode and then asking students to go outside and work their tails off, right? Or try to find us, which they don't. I don't know about you, my office hours are not greatly attended, my face-to-face ones anyway. So here's the idea I want you to think about as we go through these technologies. And how do these technologies I show you enable this to happen? So this is really my thrust. We really want to, I'm a big advocate of pushing the role of the teacher up higher. Let's not spend so much time down here. Let's spend more time up here. Let's talk about real world mathematics. Let's talk about application. And I'm a big fan of the social constructivist theory, which means when you're learning, it has to be in a context that is socially constructed. That is hard to do when you're sitting by yourself, right? But when you're in a classroom, this is the time when students and faculty can get together and talk about what they're learning. I've started a new curriculum in our developmental math that I love it. It's very much student engaging. It's very much about them doing the mathematics instead of me. It's a big shift, and it's in a developmental math class. So I'm going to just throw it out there. So here's the next thing. So right now, while I'm getting ready to throw this, I want you to spend just about 10 seconds telling the people next to you what I just said. Find one other person and explain just in your own words what was I talking about here. Ready? Go.
Okay, you go.
Okay. He said that comprehension and knowledge is very passive. It's a transmission mode, and in a traditional class, that's what a traditional class is all about, is transmission. And that with the introduction of technology, that transmission mode can be taken outside the classroom so that inside the classroom...
Okay, switch the other person if you haven't talked. Give a few seconds to strive.
That's what he said. That's what I got.
Good words. Right. I was just going to say the same about the same thing. I thought that comprehension and knowledge is something to take on outside the classroom and to spend less time on and spend more time on doing the actual math. That's when we that's when we
And stop. That's the hardest thing to do, right? Okay. Hey, you talked to somebody already. Good job. So let's go with the first. I'm only going to show you really 3 big ideas. And the first one here. Oh, there's the other balloons, just so you know I'm aware of it. So. But it's just different wording, isn't it? Of what we talked about here from 1956. But this is where we love students to be working mostly. The higher level thinking skills, the tough stuff, right? The mathematics. I contend that anything a machine does really is not mathematics. That's computation, right? What humans do is mathematics. So pulling the math up to what humans do. Isn't that ideal what we want our students to do? The thinking component, not just the procedural stuff. I'm a big advocate for both. We want deep procedural and deep conceptual understanding, right? The question is, where can we leverage technology and where is our role in that? Okay? So here we go. The first thing is the flipped classroom. Now, who's heard of the flipped classroom before? Who has actually done this? Who's actually tried? Okay. So here's the cool thing. Honestly, I think everyone in this room has done this at some level. How many of you ever even put any content outside of class for your students to do? Yeah. Who does online homework? Who does any link to any video, even the publisher's videos? Okay. So you are already starting to do this. You're quasi-flipping. Right? You are moving towards this. I think we might call it a flex classroom instead of a flipped classroom. Does that help you think about that? So to get a better picture of what a fully flipped classroom does, there's a high school in Colorado. This is a kind of cool video, so here we we go. Can't hear it, raise your hand. I'm going to go back.
Engaging in some higher order thinking.
Ready?
I'm Aaron Samuels. We're here in Little Park, Colorado at Little Park High School. Flipped learning, I think, on a really basic level, is taking what has traditionally been given in a lecture in terms of direct instruction and shifting that out of the class time, and then using that recuperated time more wisely, more valuably to really meet the individual learning needs of students. The way I got started doing this is I just started recording my lessons live for my students who were missing class and posting those online for them as a resource. They get to access it when they want to. That could be at 10 o'clock at night, it could be 6 o'clock in the morning, it could be on the bus to over to the soccer game. They have control of that. Students would watch those before they came to class, and the class time was work time, engaging in some higher order thinking, and so we didn't have to use our class time for direct instruction. We could shift that out of the class.
There's a site where we go to and watch our podcast, and it has like all the units.
And during class period, we're doing labs and applying the skills for the children.
I wish more people would do the flipped classroom. I think it definitely works for every speed of learner.
If a student is a fast learner, they can go through the material as quickly as they want. The slower learners, the students who struggle, they have control of the rate at which they learn the material. So they can pause the teacher, they can rewind the teacher, they can view it multiple times if they need to. If everyone's not doing the same thing at the same time on the same day, my class looks a little chaotic. It looks like a swerving circus of learning is what I call it. I also give them the option, if they don't want to take my test, to demonstrate their understanding in some other way. So I have students making video games, writing comic books, creating art projects. So yeah, the sky's the limit. Whatever they want to do, as long as they can prove to me that they get it, that they're learning, that they understand these things, and it's good enough for me. There's a school in Michigan that has adopted this instructional model for all of their core classes. What they're seeing there is that their failure rates have gone from in the 40% down to single digits. So that's pretty remarkable. One of the concerns that their teachers are really wrestling with these days is the fact that we are preparing our students for jobs that don't exist yet. And I really see flipped learning as a tool that teachers can leverage to help students learn to think, learn to access information when they need it, and to be able to process it in a meaningful way. So I might not be training my kids for a specific job, but I'm giving them the tools, the ability to think and the process and problem solve that they will need for whatever they end up doing.